Ever since current events have been around, there has been news. Newspapers, radio, TV, and internet help us learn about what's going on in our world, country, states, and localities. Newspapers specifically have always been the most prominent form of news distribution, but more recently, the younger generation has not followed suit, and newspapers are slowly dying out. So what does this mean for us? One of the most important aspects of news is the political spin. You have CNN, slightly more left-leaning. Fox News is known for its conservative views. And of course, Jon Stewart of The Daily Show, who mocks everyone. I wanted to learn more about local news, so I decided to have my service learning project working as a news correspondent for the Weston Town Crier. I took a trip to the wickedlocal.com office in Framingham to learn firsthand about what news production looks like and how it's distributed. There are people working all hours of the day, checking Facebooks, Twitters, and emails, looking for stories to follow up on constantly. This team of news correspondents concentrates specifically on local news and writes newspapers for a wide variety of towns in Massachusetts. And of course, we can't forget about all the awards they've won. I sat down with my supervisor and chief editor of the Town Crier to learn more about his work and local news in general.
The news is crucial, especially local news. I'm the editor of the Wayland and Weston Town Crier newspapers. I've been doing them for over a decade. Very local newspapers, very local websites for people in town who need to find out what's going on in their communities, the local schools, what's going on at town hall with their taxes, the local businesses. We're pretty much the main source of information for things happening in these communities. We try to keep these papers as local as possible. There's not a lot of news and information. There's a little bit, not tons from other parts of the state or other communities. We keep it very strictly about things going on in your neighborhoods, and it's very important. People want to know about their taxes, about their schools, about the local police and fire. Who was arrested in the police log, maybe, all that interesting stuff. So I think it's very important that people are informed about what's going on in town.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the editor, so I do write some. I'm mainly in charge of putting everything together, getting all the photos and articles organized, the video for the website, producing the newspapers, producing the website, staying on top of the Facebook and Twitter accounts, the social media. We have a fairly small staff being local papers. We have some freelance reporters. We get some help from local high school students. We have a couple reporters, and they're in charge of producing the stories every week. I do try to write a little bit as myself as time allows, but for the articles, we get tips from our readers. We check the local Board of Selectmen, school committee agendas, find out what's going on in town hall. We get tips from people. We are checking the Facebook and Twitter. Weston Public Schools is pretty active on Twitter. We check the Weston Wayland Police and Fire Departments. Their Facebook pages every day are pretty active. Listen to the police scanner. There's no shortage of things to write about in our communities. So once we have our assignments, reporters or myself follow up, get the information, interview the people over the phone, in person, on social media, and type up the story, get the photos organized, and produce the newspapers and the websites, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think luckily, I'd say the vast majority of our stories get through to publication. Occasionally some things are out of your control. You think there's something really important going to happen at a particular meeting, and it's on the agenda, and ends up not being discussed or gets postponed, or it wasn't as important as you thought it was. Occasionally things will fall through. We have a hard time getting hold of someone a particular week for a story. So it's possible that a story might not happen a particular week, but luckily, pretty much most of the time, I'd say at least 95% of the time, the stories make it through to publication. We have very good freelancers, very good reporters, very good contributors from the community. People live in town and submit material, And yeah, so excellent writing, very good engaging writing, having a good lead, good first paragraph that draws the reader in, having good visuals, maybe charts and sidebars. On online, having a video component, all that stuff can draw people in and make for good copy and make it entertaining and newsworthy, hopefully at the same time. Yeah, we have information. It's a little easier in print. We know how many print subscribers we have in the communities. It's a little over 2,000 households, which is a pretty good percentage of the homeowners in town. They might husband and wife and kids, be on the dining room table all week. That's how many households get it. Some people are former Wayland Weston residents who live elsewhere in the country now and still want to know what's going on in their town. It's certainly moving very quickly toward digital at a very fast pace. We do have Google Analytics tracking our website and finding out social media, Facebook, Twitter, what our numbers are. I don't actually have the specifics on the website on how many page views week to week. The information is being tracked. I don't happen to have it myself, but it's definitely moving digital pretty quickly. And so what I hope people get out of it is as much local news and information as we can offer them, as many local stories, features, photos, videos about the things happening in their communities, about their neighbors, about their local businesses. Trying to keep it as local as possible is my main goal. So hopefully if you read the Town Crier, you know everything you need to know for that week about what's going on in your community.
Whether you find news from a newspaper, TV, or internet, news is crucial for having informed voters and citizens. Hopefully, the more people stay up to date with news, the better off American society will be. So go home and look up some current events if you want to be a good American.